Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Friday morning to you all. Hope you guys are doing okay out there. Hopefully, you guys have power, staying warm. And I know most of the country is froze up right now. If you're not froze up right now, like my location, which it is, look at my little weather station over here. It is 52 degrees still here in Lexington, South Carolina, right outside of Columbia. The front hasn't quite moved through, but it's very windy. But, you go a couple states over and you might be in the single digits. So it just goes to show you, I think a lot of you folks that maybe questioned the weather certainly got your question answered with how dramatic this front was. Now, I can see there's a lot of people who were expecting more snow who got very little. For example, Indianapolis, I think the National Weather Service reported a tad over 1 inch of snow, but I think a lot of folks thought Indianapolis would get 3 to 4, maybe 5 inches of snow. Another example would be Memphis, and the kind of the opposite way to look at it. Memphis, I think they were forecast to maybe get as much as a half an inch of snow. In and around Memphis, picked up 1 to 2 inches of snow. I think north of town and areas of just deeper into western Tennessee picked up 3 to 4, maybe. I don't know, maybe somebody got an isolated 4 inch total, but I saw a lot of reports north of Memphis, 2 to 3 inches of snow. So I would love to hear reports out of Nashville. It looked like some heavy snow was moving into that area as I went to bed last night. And just let me know what you're seeing. Some flurries being reported as far south as Atlanta, which we mentioned that. I saw some reports near Birmingham. So, for a lot of areas, this did not materialize. For others, picked up a little bit more than they were expected. So, kind of balances everything out. But regardless, hope you guys are staying warm out there this morning, having a great start to your day. If you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. And if you guys got anything that I can pray about, pray over, please put it in the comments below. So, let's get rolling this morning. It's going to be kind of a different format. We'll kind of take the same approach that we do when when the weather's a little bit slower, but we're going to get in depth in each individual region, the southeast, northeast, south central, and north central. We'll talk a little bit about these Great Lakes that's going to be popping off the lake effect snow bands right now and then throughout the afternoon hours. Watches and warnings. Buffalo still under the blizzard warning. You got a few counties northeast of Ontario with a blizzard warning. I mean, this is just a substantial winter storm for a lot of folks right before Christmas. All these reds you see here, this is mainly due to a ground blizzard. Now, there will be a strong clipper that moves through this area in the next 24 to 48 hours, but we'll see what happens there. This purple, that's a hard freeze warning. It's very cold in these regions, all below freezing, except Florida, not quite there yet, but you will be tonight. Wind chill advisories. If you hear any crackling in the background, that's the winds whipping and just buckling my house a little bit. So a lot of wind warnings up here in the northeast. Very strong winds. If it's not blowing hard right now, it will throughout the morning and afternoon hours. And you still got the winter storm warnings up for areas of many winter weather advisories that you don't see because they're kind of underlapped by the wind chill warnings and advisories and things like that. But these will probably begin to get dropped throughout the day. And we'll take a look at power outages. We never showed this. We'll get a little update here. And look at Georgia. You got over 120,000 people without power right now. South Carolina, around 21,000. North Carolina, 15. There's a lot of people without power right now. This is just due to that front that moved through in these regions that's knocking out power. It's not really because snow's hanging on the trees, snapping power lines, ice or anything. It's just specifically because of strong winds. I would say 99% of it is. So let's hope that this gets resolved quickly. We're certainly praying for all the people who work on the power lines, who do those things, get out there in these very cold temperatures, and that you folks can stay warm out there. But this isn't good considering the fact that, Tennessee, there's areas below zero this morning. It's very cold. The front had moved through Atlanta probably a couple hours ago, reporting a couple flurries. So let's talk about the southeast. First off, let's look at the radar. See the snow report? The snow report was reported about 30 minutes ago. By the way, you can obviously tell I'm making my video a lot earlier this morning, just getting it out of the way. But it's very shallow moisture. And it's cold enough to where it's snowing in areas of Atlanta, just in general. So as we're moving forward here, you got a lot of wind reports of wind damage. If I click this just outside of Greenville, lawn furniture, trash cans displaced. If I look here just south of Anderson, saying that maybe you got some fallen tree limbs. I look up here in Lexington, North Carolina, some mixed sleet with snow. So this front's kind of moving through this area right into here right now. In fact, if I look at my temperatures, They're actually dropping right now. It's dropped 2 degrees since I just started this video. Not a substantial drop, but I can obviously tell the cold air is actually moving through right now. If you hear a loud grounding noise in my background, my wife decided to make a smoothie right in the middle of me doing this video, but she's got to make her smoothie. But, you look up here, a report just southeast of Nashville. You got snow accumulating on the roads, so there's enough flurry action in this region right here that you actually have a little bit of snow on the roadways. Well southeast of Nashville. So some of these flurries and just snow showers behind this front, it's so cold that it's just blowing around. It's not melting really. So, we'll back this out and we'll see what happens throughout the day. I'm pulling for a miracle that we get a backside flurry behind this cold front here in Columbia, but it's probably not going to happen. But moving forward here, you'll have some shower and storm activity potentially in Florida a little bit later today ahead of this front. But then the front clears through. We'll watch out for some bay-enhanced snow for southern areas and central areas of Delaware and the Delmarva area in general. I would love to see if this verifies today if you're watching for this region. I think you can get some ocean effect snow in these regions for sure. I look up here, well, we're still in the southeast. It's a moving air mass today, especially if you're in the Carolinas. If you're in this area, then the cold's already settled in. But for example, for my folks in the Midlands of South Carolina, the Triangle of North Carolina, Eastern Virginia, Southeast Georgia, the Big Bend areas in Florida, the cold front moves through. We'll take it all the way out. Let's just, look at it moving through. Once we get below freezing in a lot of these areas right in here, we stay below freezing for about at least a 48-hour period. So do any things you need to do to cover up the spigots, keep the water running, and definitely keep it running tonight. Because as we get into this evening, temperatures are beginning to drop in the teens for certain areas. And then by the time we get into tomorrow morning, we're flirting with the single digits as far south as the central Georgia, the Midlands of South Carolina, and very cold again tonight, but beginning to moderate already for areas kind of in the south central U.S. We'll talk about the Northeast, active weather today, strong winds blasting through southern New England. Let me know what you're seeing in Pittsburgh, Erie, Cleveland this morning. Certainly, you're probably seeing the rain has now switched to snow as the cold front's probably blasting through, probably here in the next hour in these areas. But the rain will switch to snow very briefly. And let me know what you guys are seeing out there. The front will move through. It'll blast through areas of the I-95 corridor, central New York State. Rain will switch to a brief period of snow. Immediately behind this front, the lake effect snow machine kicks off Erie, Ontario. So, after this front moves through, an intense snow squall fires up. And the way that the air mass is moving, it's moving southwest to northeast, meaning the winds are going to be going in this direction over these Great Lakes. And unfortunately, Buffalo sits just northeast of the northeast tip of Lake Erie. So this snow band starts to fire off right over Buffalo. But this moves through the entire Northeast. One thing I'm watching here that I haven't seen really anybody talk about is this moisture firing off kind of the ocean right out here, right off Long Island. I think as we get into this evening, if you folks are tuning in for southern New England, especially southern areas of Connecticut, Delaware, Cape Cod, Nantucket, if you just happen to be tuning in from that area, please let me know what you're seeing this evening, because models have been showing this where we're going to have some kind of ocean effect moisture. In the way it's flowing, like I said, southwest to northeast. So the moisture is going to start off kind of over here and then maybe go back over southern New England. So it's such cold air behind this. This could bring snow to areas where all the snow had melted maybe a week or so ago. And this could bring snow. It could create a white Christmas for areas who didn't think they were going to get one down southeast and maybe even Buffalo. Like I said, this entire area, watch out for some snow this evening into the overnight areas. And then we get into the overnight hours, Cape Cod. It looks like it's snowing out here. It looks like it's snowing at a pretty good clip at Nantucket. So maybe a white Christmas, sneaky white Christmas for you folks that maybe weren't expecting it. But this might be overdone. Would not be surprised if it isn't, but we'll see. I definitely want to mention it at least. Winds today, it's already strong in southern New England. But look at this area winds that move through in the next couple hours for Boston. Talking about 50, 60, maybe as much as 70 mile per hour wind gusts moving through Boston. and then the coastal regions of Maine. This continues, and then we have another area of strong winds along this cold front this afternoon in southern New England. This will cause power outages. This will cause issues. So please fasten anything down, Christmas decorations, whatever you got going on. This is going to be an issue today. This will cause a lot of power outages. In fact, you look at this, I expect this to begin to climb and be one of the highest areas for power outages for sure. But you keep this going, and like I said, this front moves through for southern New England, and then, I mean, look at these snow showers riding over southern New England. And some of these could be, some heavier snow, and I just wouldn't be surprised if certain areas get a coating of snow at minimum. And some of these southern sections of southern New England, I wouldn't be at all. For Buffalo, I want to zoom into this area. Rain quickly changes to snow this morning, and then look at this lake. This is Buffalo right here. Look at this lake effect snow band. I mean, we'll start off this morning. Fires off this morning. We get into this evening. We get into overnight tonight. We get into tomorrow morning. We're getting into midday tomorrow. We're getting into Christmas Eve. Santa Claus is heading to town. It is just blasting, and it might drift. It'll drift as basically the air mass shifts and the wind direction changes. It'll drift a little bit further south. So, Erie might start getting more snow at this point as we're waking up Christmas morning. But a lot of snow can fall in this region. We'll talk about how much snow. The National Weather Service, over the next, let's just go out 48 hours for you folks in Buffalo. Let's go out 50 hours. Takes us through Christmas morning. Christmas morning, guys. Buffalo and just south of Buffalo, 3 feet or more of snow is going to fall. There's already a lot of snow on the ground in this region. Y'all had a lake effect snow event, several days ago. Already a good little bit of snow on the ground. I mean, this is going to be crippling. You're definitely, it's just, and not just this, strong winds accompanied with this too. Very strong winds. I mean, this is going to be a crippling blizzard for this area. That's why there's blizzard warnings in Buffalo. High impact event. This is how much snow between now and Sunday morning, Christmas morning. A moving air mass today, so I don't have high temperatures. All I know is that you're starting out in the 50s in southern New England, even in the 40s in some of the higher elevations. As we get into, let's get this in motion, as we get into about lunchtime today, the cold front's knocking on the front door of New York City, blast through New York City, blast through southern New England, and by the time we get to about, let's just go all the way to Saturday morning. Saturday morning, you're in the single digits, flirting with 0 degrees in New York City. Same thing with Boston, the single digits. All of Pennsylvania could potentially be at least in the single digits to below 0, and it's going to be frigid in the mountains. So anything that's falling, and that's the scary thing, is with this blizzard in Buffalo and points south, it's going to be in the single digits to maybe below 0. So it's not like it's back in like mid-November where you were getting snow in the upper 20s and low 30s. This is 30 degrees colder. So it's a big deal, and it's very, very dangerous, very dangerous. I would not be surprised if you get intense thunder snow in the single digits out here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all. You keep this going, the south central U.S., there ain't a whole lot to talk about out here. Nothing going on, very quiet. Maybe an isolated snow shower might pop off in way western Texas. Other than that, very quiet. Temperatures today, not so quiet. It's quiet, but, it's just bitterly cold. It's so wild to watch this. You see how this is weird cutoff? This is the eastern slopes of the Rockies all the way to New Mexico, and where the Arctic front didn't get any cold air over these other side of the Rockies. Basically, anywhere points east of the Rockies is frigid. But, the shallow Arctic air did not get over here because of these mountaintops. It's kind of like cold air damming in the Carolinas. But Dallas, it'll be locking the 20s, Shreveport 20s, Little Rock teens. Same thing with Memphis. St. Louis will struggle to get out the single digits. Same thing in Kansas City. Everybody's froze up out here. They are Brownsville, Texas, only 36 degrees for a high, potentially. Just a froze up air mass for sure. The north central U.S., a snow globe. Front moves through. Lake-enhanced snow is very intense off the eastern shores of Lake Michigan, southern shores of Superior. The bands will begin to shift somewhat as the air mass shifts, but just intense lake effect snows. If you live along the Great Lakes and just south or east of them, depending on which lake you're at, it's just going to be snowing all day. It's going to be snowing all the way to Christmas Eve, probably snowing all the way into Christmas morning in these areas. It's snowfall in this region just between now and tomorrow morning. I'm not even going to go out to, Sunday morning. This is just the next 24 hours, over a foot, bordering these areas of Lake Superior. Same thing in the western counties of Michigan. If you just happen to have family in Grand Rapids, you're going to get a ton of snow. White Christmas. Some of these lake effect snows will be so intense that they'll go all the way across Lake Michigan. So if you didn't get much snow from the Arctic front, you might add up a little bit additional snow. But, you know, a lot of people in Chicago are disappointed. I think they got widespread, maybe 1 to 2 inch snowfall totals from what I'm hearing. But, you know, it is what it is. This is a tough forecast. And remember, it's Christmas time. Don't hound your local meteorologist too much, guys. I mean, it was a tough forecast. It was. I mean, I guess you can call that an excuse, but that's what I'm sticking with. But, you know, the morning of the 23rd, this morning, winds are already whipping across the Ohio Valley. Dangerous wind chills. Winds are going insane throughout the day. They really begin to intensify in areas of Michigan and along these lake effect snow bands. And look at Buffalo gusting. It really starts to gust strong this morning, and gusting to 60, maybe as much as 70 miles per hour. Not sustained, but consistent sustained gust. I know that contradicts itself, but you're going to have multiple gusts of 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. Ohio, very windy. Power outages, very cold temperatures. It's just going to be an issue today for sure, and we'll continue to deal with this throughout the afternoon and evening and overnight hours, and the winds will begin to gradually diminish somewhat as we get into tomorrow. As far as these wind chills, we'll take it all the way out to about midday. It'll be 20 as much as 30 degrees below zero for wind chills. Wind chills in the middle of the day in some of these southern cities, single digits to teens, very cold, very cold. So stay safe today. Not going to want to be out and about. It's going to be rather uncomfortable. But that's all I got, guys. God bless all y'all. I'll be with y'all this evening. And you guys stay safe and stay warm. God bless.